Good morning. It's kind of bright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy, what day is today? Wednesday? Yeah, happy Wednesday. I hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to get my live done early today because I have a really busy day. But there was some stuff on my heart that I wanted to share. So, hi Michael, how's it going? If you hop on, say hey. Let me know that you're here. I wanted to talk about our kids, man. Like, not maybe you and I's kids specifically, but our kids. Hi Bobby. Our younger generation. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? Hi, Miranda. So, as you guys know, part of my job, I work with the CSEC population. If you don't know what CSEC is, it's commercial sexual exploitation of children. San Diego has one of the top populations for CSEC. We are highly vulnerable to CSEC. Our kids are being trafficked. There's anywhere between 3,000 to 8,000 trafficked children in San Diego every year, or survivors of CSEC. So think about how many people are in our city, you guys. And remember, hi Tracy, that thousands of them are being exploited. Minus the exploitation, think about how many of them are addicted to drugs. Think about how many are runaways. Think about how many are homeless. Think about how many are thrown out by their families because they are transgender, or because they are gay or lesbian, or because they just are not cared about, or because they are just too much to handle. The reason I'm talking about this is because yesterday, I can't say too much, but I had to go to the juvenile court in Hall to support somebody that is, very near and dear to me. And when I went to visit, like, I'm just looking at the circumstances that these kids are in. Like, I'm looking at their faces while they're in court. Well, not in court, because you don't go in with them. It's not like regular court. You can't just walk in and listen to everybody's case and all this. They give them a little bit more privacy, thankfully. But in the hallway, in the waiting area, I'm looking at these kids and, like, just looking at the frustration and the pain, and like listening to them talk about, well, I got moved from this juvenile hall to this rehab center to this, and I'm like, dude, you guys are like 16, dealing with addiction and dealing with rehab and dealing with all this pain. Do you know what kind of pain has to come for you to want to numb out to where you're addicted to drugs, or that you use so often that people are sending you to rehab, or thinking that that's the solution for you? Guys, there has to be a lot of pain. And these are kids. Think of, as adults, how hard it is to cope with life in general and cope with the abuse and the trauma that we go through. These kids are dealing with the same thing and trying to learn how to be human beings and adults at the same time. I wanted to break down and cry with these kids. I don't even know these kids. I knew one of them, the one that I was there for. I knew one of them, and I wanted to break down and just cry, to just seeing and wondering what each of their stories is. What led you to need to numb out? What led you to the point where you want to be so high, or you need attention so bad that you're not getting the love that you're not getting at home, that you have to lash out and you have to get attention. Negative attention is still attention, right? And that's what these kids are wanting, you guys. Like, these kids are not bad kids. Kids are not bad. Kids are products of their environment. Kids are seeking love just like us. And that is why I constantly am trying to get the fact across that every single person is vulnerable to being trafficked, because the only thing you have to be trafficked is a vulnerability. And as a human being, we all have them. These kids especially, like, can you imagine how easy it is for somebody to come and see a kid homeless on the street because their family neglected them or kicked them out because they were too much to handle, or they didn't agree with their lifestyle choice, or they were getting high, and instead of analyzing and sitting down and talking to this kid and seeing what's going on, like, what's going on, sweetie, like, what is happening with you that you feel like drugs or anger are the only, or sex are the only options that you have. Like, let's talk about this. Like, let's figure out where the pain is coming from. Instead, they are kicking them out, putting them on the streets, not only to fuel their habit or fuel whatever, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, whatever negative actions that these kids are taking, they're fueling that. They're also adding vulnerabilities to them, so that when that kid is sitting on the street corner high or just out, just in a depression because they're homeless and cold and have no one, this exploiter, this trafficker, or this pimp, or this John, or whoever can easily swoop in and be like a hero. Of course our kids are getting trafficked because we're not loving them. We are not doing our jobs. We are so busy being wrapped up in our own shit that we are sitting there throwing these kids away, expecting them to figure out how to be good members of society. And then when they're not, because we're not teaching them or taking the time to teach them, we lock them up and put them in the system where, I don't know if you know, but I know, once you get in the system, you're in the system forever. You're all good until that first time you get locked up. That first time you get locked up, you are forever a slave to the system. Always. Because they are always on your ass. They are always constantly being able to track you. They are always waiting for you to mess up to come back. And we are doing this to our kids, so we're not even giving our kids a chance, you guys. We're not even giving them a chance. At 12 years old, we're throwing them in jail and rehab, instead of loving them and figuring out what it is that we are doing wrong as adults and as an older generation, and fixing the problem. We are putting a Band-Aid on it, thinking we're putting a Band-Aid on it, by avoiding the situation. We are lazy and we are selfish. We are such a selfish generation, you guys. It's not even like, I have no justification for it. Like, I have no justification for it. We are so wrapped up in our own shit, in our own lives, that we are sacrificing our children's generations so that we can be selfish. What sense does that make? We don't have a lot of time left, you guys. I'm pushing 30. Who knows? Thankfully, I made it to 30. I don't know how. I mean, by the grace of God, obviously I have a purpose. But I know a lot of homies and a lot of family members that did not make it to 30. And to think that our generation that's coming up next is hurting so bad. They don't even have a chance, you guys. They don't even have a chance. And that hurt. Like, that hurts my heart. That hurts for my daughters and my son, to know that if I'm not doing my job, like, if I'm not sitting here worried about every moment of their life, I can't even trust that the next adult is, because that next adult is trying to pimp on them, is trying to sell them drugs, is trying to feed them negativity, is trying to get over on them. You can't even trust the village no more. That's sad. That is why we are messed up. It is not their fault. It is not the younger generation's fault. It is our fault, you guys. Our fault. It's just sad, you know, like, I watch these parents, like, go into these rooms, waiting for their kids to come in to talk with their kids in these locked rooms. They locked us in these rooms to talk to these kids. These are kids, you guys. My daughter is 12. My daughter has friends that are 12 that are cutting themselves or that are using drugs because there is so much pain. There's so much pain. And nobody is giving a shit enough to sit and talk to these kids because we don't have the solution. We don't know how to fix them. We don't need to fix them, you guys. We need to love them. We need to love them. We need to put the phones down. I need to do this. I'm not preaching, and I'm preaching to myself. We need to put these phones down, and we need to pay attention to what it is that they need. They don't need social media. They don't need games. They don't need this stuff. That stuff is okay once in a while, but in supplement of love and parenting, no. And you know what? If they don't have a parent, it is your job to step up and love on that kid. I don't care if you have no idea who this kid is. It is your job as a human being, as a member of society. If you are a resident of Oceanside, it is your duty to sit there. If you are a resident of San Diego, if you see a kid hurting on the side of the street, if you see a person hurting, but especially a kid, it is your duty to love that person. If they don't got nobody else, it is your duty to sit and tell them that they are beautiful, that they are valuable, that they are loved, that they are honored. And it's your job to get them a sandwich or to get them a cup of coffee without posting it on Facebook. It's not a good deed for the day. Like, that is your job as a human being, because if it was you or your child, you would want somebody to do that. Be a good person. Stop being selfish. I'm so tired of seeing people being selfish. Everything is about them. Everything is about, how can I move up in the world? You can't. You can't move up in the world unless you stop using other people as stepping stones. You are not going to get to the top by stepping on others. These kids need us, you guys. These kids need us. These kids should not be going through the shit that they're going through. It's not okay. These kids should not be locked up in 23-hour lockdown in these boxes. How can we expect them to get out of this jail, of this juvenile hall, when they've been locked up in this 8x10 cell? Is it even 8x10? 8x8 cell. They got a metal toilet where they're not even allowed to eat with forks because they don't want anybody to hurt themselves. Where they got to ask for a new pair of underwear. They got to wait a day for a pair of underwear, a pair of socks. They got to wait a week to go see a doctor. And then we expect to let them out where they get no social interaction, where they just keep this anger built up. Because I'm angry. Like, I'm angry. I know as an adult, when I was in 23-hour lockdown, I'm angry. I can't think straight. I don't know what's happening. I'm going crazy. I can't even imagine as a child who is still developing, who their adolescent mind is still growing, and they're still trying to process. And we put them in this box, or we put them in this program, and then we expect them to get out and be normal and be great members of society. And then we call them bad, and we call them fucked up. Excuse my language. No, don't excuse my language. I'm not even apologizing. Like, that's what it is. We call these kids fucked up. We call the generation fucked up off of what we've created. And then we use the excuse of, Well, that's just how the world is. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Change that shit. Change it. Only you have the power to change it. I'm so tired of people using the excuse of, well, everybody, there's snakes out here. Everybody got to look out for themselves. Change it. That's a cop-out. That is a cop-out. Well, this got done to me, so I'm going to be cold to the world. That's easy, guys. It's easy to give back to the world what the world gives to us. It's easy. It's easy to be hateful. It's easy to be spiteful. It's easy to be angry. It's easy to be manipulative. It's easy to take all of the negative things that the world gives to us and put them right back out into the universe. What is not easy is taking what the world gives to us, swallowing it, learning from it, and doing better. Those are the culture changers. Those are the people, Rebecca Bender, that's a Rebecca Bender thing, culture changers. I didn't want you to think I was stealing that. I just love that. Shout out to Rebecca Bender. She's a culture changer. She's a prime example of somebody who has taken what has been done to them and turned it into good. That's how people change the world, you guys. Not sitting and being stagnant or sitting and being and conforming. You change the world by not conforming. You change the world by doing what hasn't been done. The sun is really hot, you guys. You change the world by learning from what hurts you, what breaks your heart, and not standing for it. Because guess what? What's that quote? Complacency is what? Somebody help me. What's the quote? You agree. If you're complacent, you agree. Like if you, somebody's gonna know it. Somebody's gonna know what I'm talking about. But you're guilty. Like if you know about the bad things that are happening, and you know about the pain that is going on, and you choose not to change it, or you choose not to turn another cheek, or to turn the other cheek. I can't talk, sorry. I'm angry. And you choose to turn the other cheek, you are just as guilty. If you see somebody murder somebody and you just let it happen, or you see somebody getting robbed and you just let it happen, you are just as guilty. If you see pain in this world and you see pain in our streets, this is not an over there problem, you guys. This is right here's problem. These are our kids hurting. This is my daughter hurting. This is my oldest daughter hurting. My middle daughter hurting. This is my son who's going to be hurting. It is your responsibility to make a change. Anyways, these kids are out here hurting, man, and we need to change it. That's all I got to say. Share this video if it made sense, or if it was impactful at all. I'm gonna make it, I said I was gonna make a challenge every day. So my challenge today for you, if you choose to accept it, my challenge today for you is to look for somebody who is hurting anywhere. I don't care if it's somebody who looks just alone, or if it's a homeless person, if it's somebody who's strung out on drugs, if it's a child, if it's your own child, if it's a family member. Reach out to somebody who is hurting. Do it on Facebook. If somebody posts that they're upset on Facebook, make it a point to reach out to that person. Don't try to fix them. Don't try to give them a solution. Just let them know that they're loved. Love on them. Love on somebody today. Step out of your comfort zone. Forget about you. And love on somebody today. See if it doesn't help your life or your day as well as theirs. And it's as simple as, hey, how are you doing? Eye contact. Making eye contact with them. Making them feel like a person. And letting them know, look, I don't know what's going on in your life, but whatever it is, I want you to know that you're loved, that you're cared about, that you're valuable, that you're beautiful, that you're handsome. And I want you to know that I value you. I value you as a person. I value your existence. And see if that person doesn't smile or tear up or something. It's going to change something in them. And it's going to change something in you. That's my challenge to you today. Let me know how it goes. Come back here and drop it in the comments if you did it, if you accepted the challenge, and if, let me know how it went. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Am I crazy? I don't know. Probably. But yeah, you guys, we gotta change something, because we're not gonna get very far this way. Our younger generation is doomed if we don't change something, and it's our responsibility, not somebody else's. So with that, I'm gonna hop off of here. I gotta go. I didn't read the comments, but I'm gonna respond to the comments. So yeah, I love you guys. Be love and be light. Peace. Oh, side note, if you're not a VIP member of my Limelight group, you need to be today, because we have an amazing something going on today. So if you're not a part of VIP group, you want to be, let me know. That was my shameless plug. Anyways, love you, Miranda. I'm about to read your comments and respond. All right, peace and love, you guys.